Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is MazezRealm once again, and welcome to the first official episode of my series, The Arsenal for Call of Duty Ghosts. And for those of you who have been following this series since Black Ops 2, then you'll know that this series is all about making the best loadouts you can find on YouTube and letting you guys utilize them in multiplayer. So without further ado, I'll jump right in to the loadout that we have here, and that is my CQB loadout that is featuring the Vector CRB submachine gun, and this is by far my favorite SMG in Call of Duty Ghosts. I've used all of them so far, and this one suits my playstyle very well because it has the highest damage and penetration power in its class. So it's good that it's been represented well in this Call of Duty title. Now moving on to the attachments, we have got the silencer or suppressor that really helps us a lot with staying off the minimap. Now notice that the sound in this game is a little different, so the silencer is not as quiet as it was in previous titles. Moving on to our second attachment, we have got the armor piercing rounds that suit the Vector very well because it does have the highest damage and penetration in its class. So that's a perfect attachment for the Vector. Now moving on to the perks. The perk setups in this game are crucial because the system is vastly improved from previous titles. As you see on the bottom left corner of the color of the perk, you'll see that there's a number there. That represents the value of the perk, and the color represents the tier that that perk is in. So together we have got 6 perks because we only have a weapon and 2 attachments. Now moving on to our strike package, we have got the Specialist Strike Package, which has also been improved a little bit and balanced a little bit more since Modern Warfare 3. The perks that we have actually got for our Strike Package setup are Quick Draw, Marathon, and Resilience, and they really help to complement the rest of the loadout. And you'll get your bonus at 11 kills with this setup. So you guys will definitely enjoy that quite a bit. But now we're going to move on to the gameplay right now, and it is of this loadout in action on free-for-all on Octane. And what I love about Call of Duty Ghosts is that all of the maps really are reminiscent of Infinity Ward's first titles. And for those of you who don't know, Infinity Ward developed Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 2 before Treyarch stepped in to develop Call of Duty 3. Now the reason why I'm talking a little bit about the previous Call of Duty titles is because of the fact that this Call of Duty title really is reminiscent of those 2 titles when it comes to map layouts. The maps in this game are massive in comparison to very recent Call of Duty titles like Black Ops 2. So you're definitely going to keep in mind that this particular loadout will work on certain maps in certain situations, if that makes sense. Each and every weapon in Call of Duty Ghost is effective at what it's meant to be effective in. So keep that in mind. If you're using a submachine gun, you're going to want to keep your close quarters engagements at an all-time high as opposed to trying to engage the enemy at long or even medium range. You definitely want to keep in mind that submachine guns are only good at close and fairly close medium range as well. So if you're going to be using this loadout, use it in maps where you can actually navigate well in close quarters areas. And a lot of the maps in Call of Duty Ghosts are actually very large, but they have a lot of areas where submachine guns do really well. So limit yourself to those particular areas. When you're playing a game mode like free-for-all, you can actually time spawns and also be able to lock areas down very well, and that's why free-for-all is a very good game mode for this particular loadout. It also works well in team deathmatch if you're a running gunner in particular map areas for your team. That will really determine how well you can do on matches with this loadout. So keep that in mind, guys. This game is not like Black Ops 2, and it's not even like Black Ops 1. This is very similar to Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 4. That is basically what this game is like. It's basically a mixture of both of those titles together in one, which for me is a huge plus, because I've been playing this franchise since 2003, and I know exactly how to navigate through very large maps because I used to do it in Call of Duty 1 and 2, and even Call of Duty 3, which was actually a Treyarch title. But either way, those maps were very large back then, and I think Infinity Ward was really trying to go back to those days of how they used to make games, which were just very visceral and large open areas where you would pick how you could engage the enemy at any given time. And I like that. And that's why this particular season of the Arsenal is going to be something that will make you guys really enjoy this game even more, because I can use any type of class setups on any map, and you guys can enjoy them and have fun using them. And that's what the Arsenal is all about. Now, I did also want to talk about a little bit about the history of how this series came to be and how it's going to be for Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, for those of you who have been following this series since Black Ops 2, it was a series to make the best loadouts on YouTube so that you guys can actually get a chance to enjoy the game even more and keep it fresh. And that is still going to be the main thing that the Arsenal is going to offer. But this particular time, the Arsenal is going to go a little bit above and beyond that. Because of the strike packages and kill streaks and different things in this game, you're going to have some loadouts that, even though they might look similar, they're going to play differently because of the strike package that you have selected with that. A very good example of that is this particular gameplay. I come in second place in this game pretty much because of the fact that I'm using the Specialist strike package. If I was using an Assault strike package or Support strike package that actually has lethal kill streaks in it, then I would have been able to win this free-for-all outright, because I outslayed my opponent quite a bit. My kill death was higher, and in this game, the way to win a free-for-all, you have to be able to make it in first place. You cannot win or get a win by just getting the top 3. So keep that in mind when playing free-for-all. The only thing that makes Specialist amazing in free-for-all is that it makes you into a super soldier, and on top of that, it also gives you the ability to get your gun skill up and get more kills with your actual weapon than you would with your score streaks or point streaks. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're trying to rank up a weapon, if you're trying to get tokens for a weapon, or you're trying to get I should say, if you're trying to get camos for your weapons, you definitely want to use the Specialist strike package, because it will force you to only get kills with your weapon. And so that's why for the first episode of the Arsenal for Call of Duty Ghosts, I wanted to make sure that you guys were using that Specialist strike package, because then it enables you to get all of the kills that you need to get those camos and basically get your gun personalized the way you want it. Now, the other thing I wanted to speak about was the fact that a lot of you guys are probably not recognizing what camo I'm using on this Vector CRB. Now, this camo is only available for those of you all who pre-ordered the game with the Season Pass. That's how you unlock this particular camo, and it is beautiful, to say the least. It is an amazing camo, and you guys will definitely enjoy it if you have that Season Pass from the beginning of the game. So that's how you get that camo, and I hope you guys are enjoying it for those that do have it. So it's a lot of fun. I also wanted to mention that this Vector is incredible when it comes to the role that it's supposed to play. It does not have the highest rate of fire in its class. It has the highest damage and penetration power. So when you do get a chance to put the actual armor-piercing rounds on this Vector, man, you're going to have a lot of fun, because it really just destroys people. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the description of the weapons in the game, you'll know that the CBJ MS submachine gun is also one of the weapons that has a built-in attachment in it. Now, this weapon is very interesting because it has armor-piercing tungsten rounds already built into the weapon. And the CBJ happens to have the highest rate of fire in its class. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, why is the Vector a better weapon than the CBJ MS? And the reason for me having that opinion is because although it does come with armor-piercing rounds, it does not have very high damage. The Vector, on the other hand, has the highest damage. So the penetration power of the Vector and the damage altogether make it a very, very good weapon in Call of Duty Ghosts. So that is something to be able to keep in mind, and that's exactly why the Vector has been very much represented well in Call of Duty Ghosts than any other Call of Duty title to date, because of the fact that Infinity Ward wanted the weapon to feel more realistic. And in real life, the Chris Vector is one of the best submachine guns in the world at this point when it comes to stopping power and recoil management. If you don't know too much about it, it's a very incredible weapon, and the way that it works is very interesting. The look of the weapon, if you see, it has a trigger guard and a foregrip very close to each other, and the magazine slides up into that trigger guard, that portion that's right in front of the trigger. That's where the main mechanism for the weapon is. The recoil system on the Vector is actually called the Super V system, and that's where the weapon gets its name. Super V stands for Super Vector, and Chris developed it to basically eliminate recoil or make it very low with a higher caliber. And that is the reason why the Vector is actually a very high damage SMG. It uses the 45 ACP round, and that you can actually see in game in the description. And that's why I'm telling you guys a little bit about that, because I find that the Vector is just one of the most unique weapons in real life, and it's also one of the most unique in Call of Duty Ghosts. So they really did a good job representing this weapon. It's one of my favorite SMGs in real life. Very, very popular, and it's becoming very popular with the Special Armed Forces and with different military branches in the United States that uses this weapon. Very, very good weapon in real life, and it's actually pretty incredible that they brought the CBR variant of this weapon in game. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of the Arsenal, and please stay tuned for more great episodes of this series. But that pretty much wraps up this episode, and until next time, this has been MazezRealm. I am out.